So if you had surgery on your right leg, you're probably wondering when you can get back to driving. And this is assuming you have an automatic car. Now, if you ask most surgeons, most therapists, when you can go back to driving, they'll probably just give you an arbitrary time, whether it be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, okay, or when you feel mentally okay to drive. And when you're mentally okay to drive, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're physically okay to drive. Now, we don't have an exact test that can tell you when you are ready to go and when you're not ready to go back to driving, but the closest we can come is called the Delaware Don't Drive Test, and it's really easy to administer. All you need is a chair and a small object, at least an inch wide, an inch high, and preferably a little bit longer than your foot. Okay, so laying around, I just have a tissue box that I'm going to use, and you're going to line that object up on the inside of your right foot there. And all you're going to do is you're going to tap back and forth over the object. Okay? You can't hit the object, okay, that tap doesn't count. And you also can't just tap your toes. Okay? We want your foot to firmly hit the ground and want your heel on the ground. So what we're looking for is to get at least 13 taps within 10 seconds. So you're going to go back and forth like this. You want to get 13 taps in 10 seconds, like I said. Now, something else I also like to have my patients do when I try with them is I want them to be able to or replicate them slamming on the brakes really hard. And the best way you can do that is after we do the taps, is I have them quickly stand up. Okay? And I don't want to see them stand up all on the left leg. Okay? I want them to do their taps and then quickly stand up like that. Again, it's not an exact science, but this is the closest we can come to physically seeing if you're ready to go back to driving. Now, another thing I also like to ask my patients, and this is completely subjective, but it just gives me an idea of where they're mentally at with regards to driving, is I ask them the question, if you were driving and a kid jumped out in front of you, would you feel comfortable slamming on the brakes? And some people say yes right away, and that's great. That tells me that they're mentally feel like they can do it. But some people will hesitate and kind of waffle on it. And if you're hesitating in my book, then it's not worth going back to driving yet if you're not ready for that. I wouldn't want that on my conscience, and I definitely don't want that to be on your conscience. So give that test a try and see how you do. Think about that question that I asked, and then you can have a better idea if you're ready to go back to driving.